Hey everyone, it's Anna. This episode is going to be part 2 of our episode with Allyse that aired last week. So if you haven't listened to part 1 yet, I would highly recommend going back and listening to part 1 before starting this episode. You can definitely still get something out of this episode if you don't listen to part 1, but a lot of things would make a lot more sense if you go back and listen to that one first. So in this one, we're going to continue on talking about this story about finding your worth that we were talking about a lot. We hear a little bit more about the love story between her and Kelly. We're talking about OnlyFans, so how to start it, how to grow it, how to market it. We talk about butt hooks again. If you remember our episode in December with Lauren about butt hooks, that subject comes back. And then, as always, we're going to end with our obsessions. Enjoy.
Well, I didn't tell you the first time he kissed me in high school. The first kiss we ever had in high school, we sat on my parents' porch, and he was pointing out constellations, which later he said he took 2 years of astronomy just to be able to have that moment with me. When I talk about the man has pursued me with intent, he has spent his life pursuing me with intent.
It's like the Notebook.
It is. And we say we're going to sell the screenplay, someday.
You need to, yeah.
Well, and I have a really bad memory, and so I was like, eventually you're gonna have to, like the Notebook, tell me these stories to remind me.
You can re-listen to this pod episode if you want.
Yeah. Well, and he started to remind me some of the best sex we've ever had was recreating what it would have been like in high school.
Okay, you were telling us this during your shoot. Yeah, tell the people.
It is so hot. So like, essentially, we would talk to each other like, my parents aren't home. Do you want to come over and watch a movie? Because we would watch movies on his bed.
Yeah, you're like role
as
playing.
our way to hang out. Yeah, we would role play that we were still in high school. And it's like, how intently you would make out. And like, he would trace my whole body very slowly before he ever even... Oh, he's big on tracing me. Which is my favorite thing. Before he ever even took my clothes off, and then he takes my clothes off very slowly, and foreplay is like, he would do it forever until I told him to stop and like, I need you now.
This is like the female gaze.
Yeah.
I feel like,
Yes.
Yes. And it's so funny. It's so funny because he's so masculine, but at the same time, emotionally, he's like exactly everything you would ever want as far as like, he doesn't have a problem telling me how he feels about me. He doesn't have a problem talking about his emotions. And everything is also very romantic through his gaze, which is not how all men are.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, he's just, he never is having sex for him.
Wow.
Well, I mean, he kind of is, because he says that what really gets him off is like me enjoying it. He's like, I'm this good at foreplay because I pay attention to you and your body when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And he's like, and that's how I know what you like. And that's how, everything is about me. And there will be times where he's doing something to me and I'm so into it where he's like, I thought I was going to come, like not even touch, like nobody's touching me. He's like, I've never felt like that before.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Like I was going to lose it. Like it's very intense. All of our lovemaking is amazing. And, I don't think I could be with anyone where I wasn't having great sex, even with all the other things. And I think I told you guys how it's like, during that personal growth part of me, I didn't think I was ever going to be with someone, but I was obviously putting those desires out there of like, I only want someone who's going to be like this with my kids, or this with me, or this in bed, or have these goals and drive. And like, as I started dating him again, I was like, that's what I was looking for, or that's what I've always wanted. And it was just like, check, 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 check all the time. And he jokes that I made him in a lab and that I was always supposed to be with him.
Yeah.
And that I was made for him. And I really do feel like that's the case.
I love that.
Yeah. I got distracted with the sex talk. We probably have to go. I'm like, where's our timeline?
Well, you told us how you guys got back together. It started with dinner.
Oh, yeah. So then after I left, after he put me on the counter, we made out for like probably 3 or 4 hours. It started in the kitchen. Then he took me to the bedroom and like laid me on the bed. And then I tried to leave, and we were like standing, and he was like behind me in front of a mirror, touching me and kissing my neck, like all over the house. And all we did was, like, I think at one point when I was laying on the bed, I said, "Oh yeah, you've never seen my boobs with the lights on." And I like showed him like just really quick, but like we didn't do anything. We didn't have sex. I felt really gross because I was hungover and sweaty and like had been sleeping in his bed and just woke up. So we didn't do anything other than make out with our clothes on for hours. And it still felt like sex.
That's so hot.
It felt like the best thing ever.
Makeouts can be so hot.
I love making out.
Yeah.
If you like, and if you're doing it because you like it, it's the best. Mm-hmm. And I also feel like sex is better when there's more kissing. Like I feel 100%. Better and it feels better to me when we're kissing while we're doing stuff.
Same.
And so we were like talking and, talking about seeing each other. And as we were talking, which happened so often, even when we were just friends, there's still that spark there. There's still that thing. And I called him one day and I said, well, I need to talk to you. And he's like, thought I was going to be like, I can't do this. I can't see you or whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm just having some feelings and I need to step away and understand why I'm feeling them. He said, are they good or bad? And I said, well, they're good. And then he's like, okay, I know what they are. Yes. Thank God. Thank God. And I said, I want to make sure I'm not feeling this way because I've been single for a long time, or because the way you touch me feels really good, or any of the wrong reasons, because I knew I'd hurt him so bad so many times before. And I love him and he's my friend and I don't ever want to do that to him again. And so I was really scared that my idea of having a friends with benefits situation would hurt our friendship. Mm-hmm. And then I started to have those feelings and told him, and I said, well, how do you feel? And he's like, nope. I'm not going to say anything to you that is going to influence how you feel and the time that you're taking away, which I also really appreciated. And he says when he looks back on it, he's like, I already knew. He's like, and he does. He always knows what's going to happen before I do, historically. And so I took that time away and I thought about it and sorted through my feelings and called him again. And he told me, he's like, you love me, don't you? And I said, yeah. And he's like, I've loved you every day since I met you.
No, we're back in the notebook.
I know. Like he's so, it's such a fun mashup of hot passion and the most pure, intentional love.
And like so like romantic and kind of like old fashioned, but not in like a toxic patriarchy way. It's just like
he always wants the best for
chef's
me.
Kiss.
Always wants whatever would be best for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He just wants me to be happy. He's like, even if it wasn't with me, I just want you to be happy.
Yeah. Oh. So where are you guys now?
So now we've been together for almost 2 years, and he just proposed to me again on December 9th, which was 20 years after he shipped out for the military when he was on that plane.
Wow.
Thinking about how he was never going to see me again. And so we went to Canada. It was actually his birthday trip that I had gotten him for his birthday. So I didn't know that that's what he was going to do. And we went out to dinner at like top 3 best meals I've ever had in my life. And he said, I know that it's my birthday. And he got down on one knee. He said, but the only thing that I've ever wanted is for you to be my forever gift.
Oh my God, Stop. This man.
He's like, I've loved you so every day for 20 years. He's like, and he talks, I know that he loved his girlfriend that passed very much, but he also said, you were the bar and she knew that you were the bar.
Oh
and
my
I
God.
think that, and I just say, oh my gosh, we're so similar. He's like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to find you.
Yeah.
But it's not without its challenges, even with how rare our love is. Like, we know that not everybody has what we have. I didn't think it existed. I didn't think it was real. I thought it was just movies, made up stuff. And I think I know why, because when we live that love out loud and we talk about that love, oftentimes it shines a light on the fact that people don't have that and they don't receive it very well. And I think that there's probably more people that have our kind of relationship than we realize, but they just keep it to themselves because nobody really understands it if they haven't had it. I've met one man, an old man, who had it with his second wife, like later in life. And after talking to him, I was like, you have it. Like, you can spot it, you know it when you see it. But it's so rare, and we want to protect it. But we've both had so much trauma that comes out when we are elevated, when we are upset. And I'm a little bit more skilled at communicating when I'm in mine, even though I do have behaviors that are unhelpful. But I don't think he even has unpacked some of those things for himself or really started to think about what can I do instead when this happens. So that's the work that we're working on now. And when we would fight, it would be so different from who he normally is because he's having a trauma response. I didn't know. That scares me into thinking, oh, you're not who I think you are, which reminds me of all the lies and double lives and stuff from before. And so my brain is trying to protect me and is like, nope, we look for this so that we don't hurt again. You need to stay away from that. And so I've had a really hard line where I've like left and been like, I'm not doing this. I can't. I love you, but no matter how much I love you, I can't do that again. And when he asked me to marry him, he said, but you can't run away anymore. And I said, okay, but you can't either. You can't leave me when I'm upset. You can't leave me when it's hard because I'm pushing you so that you don't leave me. I don't want to be hurt, so I'm avoiding it. If you leave me, it will validate it for me, and that'll be really bad. And that's what happened in our last fight a few weeks ago, where he thought, and there's a difference, I think. You have to pull back and be really analytical and take your feelings out of it and really like just look at actions. Because he didn't leave to hurt me and he didn't leave to punish me. He left because he thought it was the best choice to remove himself because he was mad. So he had good intent. I perceived a negative intent. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing this with you then. I'm done. I can't do this. So it's that balance. It's really hard for me. I've allowed all kinds of disrespect because I didn't really think I deserved it to now I only want what I deserve. And I'm not going to settle for anything less. But I have such a hard line that I also tend to not give any grace. And so that's a lot of what we're working on now. And I think some of the biggest green flags for me in this process with him is that he comes to me with, he takes accountability for his actions. He apologizes. He comes to me with ideas of what we could try and what we could do, which is huge because I've watched, my sister get cheated on a couple of times in the last couple of years by her husband. And the way that they moved through it was, her telling him, here's what you're going to do. And obviously he wasn't wanting to change because he did it again. And I said, that's the thing that you have to look for. Do you want to be with someone who you have to tell them how to be better? Or do you want someone who's going to go back and look inside themselves and come to you and say, here's what I think I could do better. Here's what I think I need to work on. Or here's what I want to try with you. That's somebody who is focused on fixing the problem, not focused on getting you back. If they just want to get you back, they're going to tell you whatever it is you want to hear and let you say how it's going to be. And it's like, whatever, you can just say whatever to get to the point where we're okay again. Like, he takes a very active role in communication and resolving conflict, and then what we're going to try to do to be better. So that's how I kind of rationalize, like, trying again, because it can feel like you're going back to something that's not working, when really it's like I have to look at it, is it worth working on tremendously?
Yeah. And I mean,
is he showing those things that make me understand his intent and his heart behind it?
Yes.
Which
and
is
you
huge.
have so much history with him showing up for you and being there for you and loving you, and it's like, I feel like sometimes with, like, the current conversation on, like, if you're on TikTok, like, a lot, and you get those, if he wanted to, he would type of things, which I say that shit all the time, like, I'm part of the problem, but I feel like sometimes it can feel like, oh, I can't, like, they have to be perfect, basically, otherwise I'm, like, not, you know, I'm not doing myself, like, I'm doing myself a disservice, and I think that, like, what it doesn't, like, the nuance it doesn't take into account is, like, what has that person shown you over time? Like, one mistake doesn't cancel out, like, all of the amazing things they've done for you, all the times they've been there for you, you know, like, they're human too, and that's okay. And I feel like just hearing your story, it's like, obviously this is, like, someone who loves you and is going to be there for you, and, you know, like, just, I know you didn't ask.
No, it's true. Like, we hold to our standards and our boundaries because they get crossed so much, or because we have finally accepted what we deserve and our worth, that, it's really easy to take something as, like, a sign of, like, oh, no, I'm done. I'm moving on. And it's an interesting balance, and it's hard work. Mm-hmm. I think it's harder than any of what I've learned and implemented alone, because now I have to practice that with someone who deserves for me to be in relationship with them, but maybe doesn't have the same skill set. And so it's almost like I kind of have to pull myself back and just really look at everything merit-based. Not how I feel, not how I felt when he did that, not how I felt when he said that. It's like, what he did and said was because he was also hurting. But let's look at the facts. We just look at the facts. And that will help show you, because, you know, when I was in a relationship that didn't deserve me staying a bunch, I stayed because of how I felt. It was always about how I felt about him, how I felt about us being together, how I felt about our family. And it was never just taking away how I felt and looking at, how does he treat me consistently?
Yeah, what's the big picture? Yeah.
What is the big picture? What does it look like? What are the patterns? It's really important to notice, because we're often in cycles of patterns of behavior with partners, good or bad. And so it's important to kind of step back and look at those without emotion and say, is this healthy? Is there something we could do to evolve that and maybe move to a better place? When you take the emotion out of it, because emotion guides all of those decisions. You know, when we prioritize how we feel, that can often just automatically eliminate certain, like, paths, certain options, because it's like, well, I like how I feel when we do this, so I don't want to try any of that. So I think that's important. But that's where we are today.
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah. But so sex stuff. Okay.
So
Let's we can talk about the app hook. And then sex and then OnlyFans.
Yeah. I want to start with the hook really quick, because
the hook. We gotta talk about the hook.
During the episode, like, back, it was our last episode before Christmas break, and it was the one where we were talking about our guest was talking about FetLife and all the things that she sees on FetLife.
The episode with Lauren.
Yes, with Lauren. and she talked about like the hook. She brought that up as like something that was on the thing. And then we recorded that episode, and then your boudoir session was like a couple like
it was like the next day.
It was that same week. Like it hadn't
So
aired. It hadn't aired, but we had recorded it.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah. And so we
and mine was all super bondagey and
No, but like we left that being like the hook thing like blew our minds. We're like, we never heard of this hook, and in my mind I'm picturing a hook is hanging from the ceiling and it's in your butthole and you're just hanging like just like swirling like I have
like a meat.
Yes.
Literal meat hook. Well,
Yes.
Laura described it as a fish hook.
Yes, a fish hook.
So we're like thinking it's like this metal hook stabbing you and you're hanging from it and you're like, how do people survive this?
That actually does happen. So she might have been talking about that.
Okay.
So there are, with bondage specifically, not only do people like to get tied up with rope or restraints, but also suspension is a thing. So I've seen people get temporary, just right under the dermis piercings that are rings, and they get them all down their back so you can evenly distribute the weight, and then they're literally hung by those rings piercings. So it's suspension is the term. So that's also a thing. So if she talked about like actually being, that's a thing, but that's very aggressive.
In the butt. It was like a
so
butt
that is
plug.
a different thing.
Yeah. So that's what I was picturing. And then during your session, we bring up the hook, and you're like, "Oh yeah, the hook." And immediately, I'm like, Allyse is hanging from the ceiling from her butthole. Like that's the first thing. I was like, "What is happening right now?"
I love it. It'd be great photos.
Yeah.
No, it's actually like a smooth metal hook. Sometimes the end of it is like a round bulge, so nothing is sharp. And it is usually part of rope play.
Okay.
So it's tied on the end to a rope and inserted in your butt. And then it's usually part of a more elaborate rope setup so that maybe if you don't want someone to move their feet, you want them like a spreader bar. Like it's kind of the idea of I want you stationary and you're going to accept the play that you're receiving.
Yeah.
That's kind of a punishment. If it's tied to there and they move, then it pulls it and there's pressure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that can be fun. And I think that's usually how it's played with, is some kind of rope, part of rope play.
Okay.
Which makes a lot more sense.
So much more sense. And it's just much easier to conceptualize now. Yeah.
For sure.
But you've been in this world of kink, fet life, and you were telling us one thing that a lot of people don't know is finding the right partner to try those things with. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So when I had processed leaving my ex and had been single and celibate for about a year, I decided I wanted to have sex, but I didn't want to do anything else. And I didn't want the emotional part of it. And so I had one of my girlfriends was like, she's non-monogamous, and she typically doesn't have a primary partner. She has a roster of dudes. And she has a very high sex drive like me. Just you want it a lot. And so she had enough men to be doing it a lot. And so she's like, well, why don't you try this app? And it's essentially a dating app called Field, but it's geared towards kink, polyamory, non-monogamy, stuff like that. And so I am not on FetLife. I think that's definitely, you're going to run into more people who are not there with good intentions. It's just been my experience. But Field, this app, I had really good experiences. A lot of people in that community have been in it for a long time. They are not new to it, so they understand the screening process and safety and sharing test results and talking about consent and boundaries. And I had almost all wonderful experiences on that app, but I think a lot of people going into it don't know to ask those questions. If you like being submissive and are looking for, because I am, and I like for someone to dominate me and be very rough, but you also have to trust that that person's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Usually you're doing it with your primary partner, and that's already there. But when you're looking for that in that type of environment, you have to ask a lot of questions to get to the heart of like, how's this going to be when we actually do it? Aftercare is a big one. What that is essentially, after I've been really rough with you, how am I soothing you and taking care of you so that you still feel like that was still about your pleasure? It wasn't just about me, and I care about how you're feeling after. If you ask a guy that or a girl and they don't know what that is, that's a big red flag, because that means they're just in it for the rough part. And then I would always have a non-sexual meeting with someone to just like see if they're weird, see if we vibe. Also, a lot of people are in relationships. And so a big thing for me is I'm only going to sleep with you if you're married, if I've talked to your wife or your husband, and that they know that this is what we're doing, because I had been in situations where that wasn't the case. And so another thing that I liked about that app was that you can connect your profile to your partner's. So even though this is mine, it's like you can see that they're here, they know this is what we're doing, you can talk to them if you want. Mostly I would talk to them in person, but I appreciated that the app was set up that way.
How was it awkward when you like, so you have like the first meetup where you're just trying to like gauge their personality, and then you're like, it's like not working, like to then just be like, actually never mind? Is it like
no, I'm trying to I don't think I had any where I knew after the first meetup that I didn't want to see them again.
Okay.
I do feel like that community
but they
is so
know.
Communication oriented that it's like honestly probably easier to say no to someone on Field than it is to say no to someone from Bumble.
It is.
True.
It is.
Yeah.
Most people, especially like I was talking to this one woman where I was like, I'm really busy and I don't have a lot of time, and you live really far away. And she's like, oh, just feel free to disconnect. No big deal. Like,
yeah.
It's just everybody goes into it with priorities and with their own shit going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a lot easier to say, this isn't a good fit for me, or I don't want to move forward, but thank you. So it's very, most people going into it also are going into it the same way you are. And that's their process too. So it's like, they know they're being screened, you're being screened, and everybody wants to feel good about it. And if not everybody feels good about it and they're good people, they don't want you to do it if you don't feel good about it. So I had great experiences. The only one I didn't like was I broke my rule of seeing a guy that was under 30. Because it's just we're not going to have anything in common, and you're probably going to be very immature.
Yeah, let's start to talk about there.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I went, so it's literally an app mostly for sex, mostly for hooking up and sex. And we went on the first non-sexual date, and then the first sexual date, like I'm wearing a dress with no panties. He knows I'm not wearing panties. We leave the restaurant to go to his house, and he's like fingering me in the parking lot. Like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're here to do.
Yeah.
We get to his house, and I'm on top of him on the couch, and I'm like thinking we're going to go, and he's like, oh, I don't want to have sex. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I just don't want to go that far. And so as women, we are not rejected very often.
And it's so uncomfortable.
And it's very hard to take because we're not practiced in experiencing those feelings and reacting to that situation like men are. And I took it, I think I teared up and took it very personal, like, why? What's wrong with me? Like, this is what we're doing. And he was just like, well, I just am not ready to take that step. And I said, so that would have been a good thing to communicate before we got to this point.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's that immaturity of, like, I can't, I can't. Where it's just a lack of basic communication that you already knew that was your boundary. and you couldn't even
like
tell me
before
I'm
that
cool
second
with
date
other
started.
stuff. You couldn't even just say I'm cool with other stuff, but I don't want to. Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But it was, and then it caused friction because he did not communicate. And so that wasn't a really great experience. But on the other hand, I had like 2 partners. They were both CEOs. One was a CEO of a nonprofit who, like, he was like 50. Wow. And he did not look 50. He was stunning Adonis of a body. And he was also vegan and sober. And so our first date, he like brought, he asked me to go to a park, and he like made a picnic of like kombucha and fruit and like.
So Portland.
Was like, it was so, it was just so cute.
Did his cum taste really good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he had like great cum shots. Like a lot, like it was just a lot. Like, and he was very good at like filming himself coming, and like it was just really quality stuff. Yeah. Oh, and he was actually the first person I was with to break my long streak. And do you know what he did? So I did meet his wife, and I talked to his wife. And then he knew it was a really big deal to me. And so he talked to his wife, and he said, "Are you okay with me getting her a hotel room at the Nines downtown?" And she was like, "Yeah." And so he like made it such a very enjoyable, like he cared about the emotional part of it, even though we were like there to be kinky and nasty. Like got down and put my foot on his chest and like undid the strap of my shoes and things like that. Like just so like I had very good experiences for the most part. There's a lot of really great people on there. But yeah, I went into like being with Kelly thinking, well, this is just like going to be just like that.
Yeah.
And then my heart was like, no, bitch. We getting married. But he did know I was a dancer before. And he had actually, I didn't know this until later, but while I was doing that, when he was here, living here with his girlfriend, he managed a strip club here, and that she started dancing there. And I was like, no, you never do anything wrong. I don't even think you would even like being in one. And he's like, well, I didn't really, but it was a job, and I started bouncing, and he's like, it just evolved to that because he's a big dude.
Yeah. I feel like with how respectful he is, he'd probably be the perfect person to manage a strip club, because he'd probably like
never wanted to have sex with any of the girls.
So much respect for the dancers, like actually protect them, like there's so many sketchy people.
Never have to be any bribe situations going on.
Yeah.
He was. And so his girlfriend, the one that passed, she went and danced there because she's like, well, if you're going to work there, I'm going to work there too. And he's like, okay. And they told everyone that he was gay. And so none of the dancers knew that they were actually together. They thought that them and some other guy were like all roommates, and that he was gay.
I love
and
that.
That's why he was like 0% interested in anybody's anything. Because then they were like, oh, that makes sense.
That's a good strategy.
Because otherwise that would not compute.
Yeah.
A man like him in an environment like that would not have computed for any of those women.
Yeah.
And so they were like, oh, you're gay. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's why you don't care. My pussy's out. Totally. And so I was shocked, but I think it was also just something that had to happen on this path of us being perfect for each other, where it helped me be more okay with the dark part of me. Like I felt less judged because he had gone through things and hard things and dark things and stuff in that part of us not being as close, where I felt more like he could relate to me. For him, he's like, I could relate to you the whole time, but it was my block, my mental block that I couldn't get past. And so that helped a lot. But yeah, I started, I don't know, thinking about it. And I think it's because he does love me so well, and he does make me feel so beautiful, because I had a hard time. I was beautiful before I had kids, and I knew it. And then after that, I let so many people I believed so many things that other people said about my body that I stopped thinking I was beautiful. And he never stopped thinking I was beautiful. And so being with someone that made me feel beautiful like this again as a mom, it gave me the confidence to be like, okay, well, like maybe I can be sexy again. Maybe I can be naked with the lights on again. And that's when I like started following you guys and saw you guys start your business and grow. And I knew right away, I was like, I'm gonna do that for our wedding gift. That's who I want to work with. That's where I want to go. I felt it. I felt like I was supposed to do it. And I had such an amazing time, and the photos that I got afterward were almost like that proof that we were talking about. You can attach to the negative or the positive. Those photos turned out so good, and I had so much fun doing it again that I decided to attach to that. And I was like, I feel comfortable creating again. I want to make content. I want to be naked again. I feel excited about it again. And he's been so supportive. It's fun to talk about like boundaries and what's okay and what's not okay. I am a firm believer that your marriage or your relationship can look like anything as long as you both agree. And it doesn't always have to work for everybody else. Like, I don't think that I could like have sex with another man. I've had relationships that were open, and I know that I can have a different mentality about it, but there's something about him where I'm like, that's mine. I don't ever want to share that, and he doesn't ever want to share me with anyone else in that way. But he's also like, you're beautiful, you should be celebrated, you should go get that bag. Like, we have big goals and big dreams as a couple, and we have our jobs, we have these side hustles, and so it's very fun to just have this be one more thing that is helping us achieve those goals. And it's just like, I burned myself out a lot having my corporate jobs. And
yeah, I think this is an important thing to add to this, like, and not to give people too many details, but like, you throughout this whole time have had a lot of like quote unquote normal people jobs, like in the corporate world that like, like as you're also doing all this stuff on the side, which I think is a lot more common of a story than a lot of people actually think. You know?
Yeah, I have had corporate jobs. They're very demanding, very high stress in marketing. And it became not fun for me. Social media wasn't fun anymore. I stopped doing it. It just wasn't exciting. And this content is the first time, again, where I'm feeling like I want to make it, and it's fun. And I also think that's the biggest part when you are creating content on social media, especially. It's like the energy that you have when you're making it should be the energy that you want someone to have receiving it. So if it's tedious and you're just like, oh God, I really don't want to do this, but we got to do it. I don't think you'll get the same engagement as if you're excited and people could tell you were excited to do it, and people are like, I'm excited, you're excited. This is, I believe, in energetics a lot. I like that. So that's just the way I'm approaching it.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
And I have a business coach who, like, she very much goes into that of, like, when you are creating content, spend time before it, really getting in that headspace of how do you want someone to feel? What is the vibe that you want them to get from this content? Because you should get into that vibe before you make it.
We need to start doing a vibe check.
I'm just thinking, I'm like, okay, content this week, we're doing vibe check. I feel like we need to make it like a party beforehand. Like, we just need to get like very hyped. Everyone needs a coffee. Everyone needs like
coffee, music, snacks, twerking,
dance party. Then yes.
Well, and I think that that's what Boudoir does for the women that do it, like during and after. Because it's just like the reel I just made. It's like, if you want to change your mood and you want to change how you feel, wear that lingerie, do your makeup and hair to go to the grocery store. In my journey of like just getting happier and more focused on creating my own pleasure in my life, I was this person who like had these fancy dishes that I wanted forever, and it was like my sign that I'd made it as an adult because they were like so expensive and I wanted them for so long. I never ate off of them, ever. And then I just, in that journey, I was like, I am going to manufacture my own joy. I'm not going to let experiences dictate the joy I receive. I'm not going to let my circumstances or other people dictate how much I enjoyed my day. I was like, I'm going to make myself enjoy my day. I am going to eat on those dishes. I am going to wear this. I am going to get naked. I'm going to make that. And even if you don't feel like doing it before, if you just do it, you will feel like it after.
Preach.
Yes. You know?
Yes.
Don't you think you see that with people who come in where it's
100%.
like they're so nervous and then they do it and they're like, I feel like a haughty badass.
Yes.
Yes.
100%. And I feel like that is the thing that so many people, like, you know, you're talking about focusing on the wrong thing holds you back. Like, if you say to yourself, oh, I'll do the shoot when I feel hot, you're never going to do the shoot. Like, do the shoot and then you'll feel hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to feel hot, so I'm going to do the shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with, like, wearing the clothes that you never wear because you're saving them for a special occasion. The dishes that you're saving. Like, you are a special occasion. Make every day a special occasion.
Yes.
And it will change your mood.
Yeah.
Just like you never feel like working out, and then when you work out, you're like, oh, I feel so much better. Mm-hmm. Do it for that. And I'm not very good at articulating it, but another one of my mentors has, focuses on like how the brain interprets information and how our subconscious works with or against our motivations and like what we do want. And that there's a way to cause, like movement in the body or like movement for action, to cause action in the body by focusing on how you will feel to have done it. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, ladies, focus on that feeling of how you will feel when you get those photos and how good you look and that you'll have them forever. Because let me tell you, as soon as I left, I was like, I'm never wearing clothes again. I'm just going to be naked as often as I can, and I will only wear clothes if I have to. And I'm just going to wear what I like. I'm going to wear whatever I want. I am going to get dressed up to go do nothing.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like so many people too, even before they even see the final images, like just leaving that day, they feel so much better because it's like they wore fun clothes. They looked at themselves in the mirror. They felt really beautiful. They got hyped up. It's like, it was just that confidence boost. And like, they haven't seen anything. If anything, they've seen like a couple of small things on the back of the camera, you know, but like they've seen nothing and they're already leaving with just like this complete shift of like, oh, I'm amazing. I'm so hot. I'm, worthy, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So invest in it, but also you can do it for yourself every day. I'm going to do it for myself every day from now on.
One thing I was thinking yesterday, which was very crazy that you just brought this up, but like, so I obviously wear neutral colors only, and I wear a lot of cream, just like all like whites and creams and stuff. And like a lot of people, when I do that, will like to be like, oh my god, like I love your pants, but like I could never wear white pants because I'm gonna spill on myself, or I could never wear tan because like whatever it is. And it's like, I spill on myself. Like, I have, like, stains on my clothes, like, whatever. I have a baby. Like, I am changing a lot. I do a lot of laundry. But I feel like a couple years ago, I hit this point where I was like, I like these cream colors. Like, I like wear, like, an all, like, monochrome outfit. So it's like, I'm just going to start doing it. And then we'll just see what happens. And it's like, yeah, like, I'll deal with stains. I'll deal with whatever. But I just will, like, put it on anyway. And I'm like, this makes me feel happy. So I'm going to, like, leave my house like this. And I don't care if I have to, like, buy another pair, like, later on because they get too stained or whatever it might be, but it just makes me feel good. And then I think like people sometimes see me and they're just like, oh my god, it's like she's so like brave, and it's like, no, I'm just like so doing funny. It
yeah, it's so funny that you would say that because it's, as you said it, I realized that I did that too.
Yeah,
like it's so, I wonder if that's a thing, like that women are just afraid of wearing light colors, because I literally had to consciously be like, I can wear white and cream. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. I like literally went through that mental path that you just explained. And yeah, you're right. So many people are like, just have a limiting belief of like, I can't.
Yes.
I couldn't.
Ever heard of a Tide pen?
Yeah.
I mean,
right?
Yes.
I have one in the car, one in the house, one in my, I have them everywhere.
Yeah. Also, I think white pants people think are going to be unflattering if they're like, I have to be a certain size or weight or whatever. Yeah. And I've seen people of all sizes wear white pants.
Yes.
They look fucking hot.
It's
structured
more about,
denim.
Yeah, and like
denim.
the fit of the pant than like the fact that it's white. That
Which,
matters.
thank God,
more.
these like straight, like it's so flattering. These like high-waisted, straighter legs that are not skinny jeans are back now because they literally look on every size of woman.
Yes.
Every body type. I'm here for it. It's sexy as fuck.
Yeah. I don't want the skinny jeans.
I never want to wear a skinny jean
no,
again. I know they'll come back in 20 years, but
yeah, they're like already kind of coming back a little. Like,
no.
Yeah, it's not for me. It's not for me.
No, I love it. I can live in it. But yeah.
Okay, I have a couple questions about. Well, okay. First of all, I want to ask about OnlyFans. Like,
yes,
what are you doing to kind of like start up, get established as like a. You know, kind of starting fresh as a creator.
Yes.
That was a part I researched. Oh, what?
Okay, no, I was going to say, to piggyback off of that, because one thing I feel like we hear a lot, because we like talk to people about OnlyFans, and I've learned this recently, is like, it's really hard to actually like promote your OnlyFans because it'll get like, your links will get taken down.
Part.
Yes. So I'm, in case anyone that's listening doesn't know, it's really hard to promote your OnlyFans, and you can't search, right? On OnlyFans, you can't like just like search a key term and like pop up.
And you'll get kicked off the dating apps if you use the dating apps to advertise.
Yeah. A lot. I mean, most places and other social media do not want you promoting it.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us.
And then also if you get into like, if you have a job where you don't want people to know, or you have family that you don't want to find out, promoting yourself is really hard. So that's probably what the bulk of my research was. And then also trying to figure out, a lot of people have different strategies on what types of content, and then the pricing as well. So, but I knew that promotion was going to be my biggest hurdle, because I didn't want family to, and I thought that like the first thing that came to mind was Instagram, and it's like, well, they are always, anytime you create a new account under a different name, it will automatically start recommending it to the people who follow your other account.
Yes.
So what I did was, it will only do that once you start posting. So you can actually populate your profile and your picture and set up your bio and stuff, and it won't.
Okay.
But it's once you start actively posting, it will.
Okay.
And so what I did was I just created the name only, and then I went and searched for all the people I didn't want to find it, and I just blocked them preemptively.
Smart.
Which has worked really well so far. I haven't had any issues, and my profile is getting recommended, so I feel like I would start hearing from people or start seeing people follow me that I didn't want to follow me.
Yeah.
And there's also other ways to promote it that aren't like on those social media channels. There's a lot of Reddit subgroups where people are looking for OnlyFans girls, people who have new accounts. Who should I follow? Who do you follow? What do you like? Like, there's a lot of discussions there. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of sharing. And so that can be a good place to promote yourself. There's also the ability to do referrals. So it will, if there's somebody that follows me, they have a unique referral link for my profile that's unique to them. So if they share it with someone, it will attach to them, and I can also give them, like, I can set up so where anyone they refer to me, that's like another month free that they don't pay to subscribe. Okay. So there's like an incentive and a referral program that you can set up. You can do it through the functionality that OnlyFans has. But I think that it's probably only one or two options of what they can get. I know that one of them is a 1 month free for every referral. But if you wanted to do a different kind of incentive, you can set that up with people separately and say, well, both of you screenshot and message me that you're connected, and I'll give you both something free or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay.
So research all of the ways that you want to promote it, because there are a lot of different ways. You just have to look it up and decide what's right for you.
Can you put the link in bio on Instagram, or does Instagram kick you off for that?
It will, if you put just the link, it will know.
Okay.
But if you use something like Linktree or anything that's like a third party where you can have a bunch, it will just read that it's Linktree.
Okay.
So that's also what I did as far as my link.
Yeah.
Also, OnlyFans is really cool in the fact that, like, you can create an Amazon wish list and have people buy you stuff, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And I've seen people say, you know, if you buy something off there, I'll send you, like, one free video or what, you know. There's incentives and things to do. And so then I started following different people to see how they were operating. And there's a lot of different strategies. Like, I would see super famous people. Like, I went to college with a girl who ended up being like a Playboy playmate and an MTV host, and she like now like lives out on the beach on the coast here in Oregon, and is like creating this beautiful cabin land with her boyfriend. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I'll share those profiles with you guys too. But she's super famous, and so her content is like, you're paying a lot and you're not going to see very much. Like, there's no porn. It's like maybe her naked and maybe a photo of down there, but like, yeah, not very often.
Yeah.
How much is she charging?
I want to say it was like $25 for a set of 3 photos, and you didn't even see pussy. And I was like, I feel like if I was a dude, I would be a little bit disappointed in that. But also it's all about audiences, right? And the kind of person that you're attracting. One of the strategies that I liked the most was you have a paid account where someone pays for access to you. And your feed kind of looks like any other social media feed, where you have stories and you have feed posts, and anyone can see those things, but you can also lock content and people will pay to unlock that video. Or people will tip you in the DMs and say, some of them have a menu and they say, I want the video where you're doing that. And so that's where the bulk of their money comes from. I wouldn't say it's from the subscription to the page. I would say it's from paying for videos and pay-per-views. So the strategy is to have one account where it's paid access. That means I will chat with you. You'll see nudes on my feed. Like, there's just added benefit to paying. But then they'll also, for a different audience, have a free account where you don't get to talk with me directly, but if you want a menu of all of my content and you want to pay for some of my content, you can just buy the video without subscribing to access to me. And so I felt like that strategy was really good because you're kind of getting the people who are willing to pay for a lot and the people who are really only wanting to pay for a little bit.
Yeah, you're like diversifying.
It is. Yeah. And so I really like that.
This is like a finance course now. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. You got to spread out your income
Always
streams.
Diversify.
Yes.
Exactly. Give people as many opportunities to pay you as you can. Different kinds of people pay you in different ways. Like, I've seen them on top of this say, you can pay me $65 once, lifetime access, just cash at me and you will get on my Snapchat, my VIP Snapchat. So it's monetizing something that usually we can't monetize, but they can with their audience, and they can because of their other accounts and their following and the type of work that they're doing. So I've seen people do that as well. And a lot of it is also collabs. So I think it's more typical to find women who are only doing things with girls or their partner or solo. There's not very many people that I have found that are just like, I'm here to be a porn star, I'm here to fuck everybody and anybody who wants to. I think it's more common that this is supplementary to their income like mine, and that they have boundaries of what they are and aren't willing to do. And I think if you're gonna get into this, or you think that you want to, that is the biggest thing I've always said with sex work, and anyone who said they wanted to strip or they wanted to do OnlyFans, is you have to be very clear about how you feel about yourself, and you have to be very clear about what you're willing to do. Because people will pay you a lot of money sometimes, someone will come along and be willing to pay you to cross that boundary. And so you just have to really know what you are okay doing and what you're not okay doing. And so doing this with Kelly, we have all of those conversations anyway. Mm-hmm. And so it's really helpful to know, like, what would make you upset or what wouldn't make you upset. Mm-hmm. Because my boundaries might be different than his boundaries. Mm-hmm. So take it all into account.
I think that's all such
that's
helpful,
really good advice.
Like, that's like a crash course on how to get started in OnlyFans.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yay. But yeah, a lot of research. It's
where
figure out what you want to do before
were you
do
researching
it.
Like on like Reddit? Like where are you researching?
I would there are girls that will share some information, but I don't like to ask people for their mental, emotional, physical labor if I'm not paying them.
Yes.
And they get asked all the time. So don't ask for free advice if you can Google it. So a lot of it was looking online. There's a lot of YouTube videos there. I would look online for like how to size my banner for my profile. Like what's the pixels for my OnlyFans banner so that it looks right. There's a lot of material online that will help you get started. But then I would say the most helpful research that I did was actually following different types of women and getting access to their accounts and seeing how they did it, mm-hmm. Which helped a lot. But I even found that like when it came time for me to start mine, it's not as intuitive of a platform. It's not very intuitive how to set up referrals or how to lock content or how to change the settings so that people have to tip you to be able to chat with you or any of that. So there is a lot of just research. I think it will be a really fun opportunity because I'm always like thinking about where I will go after where I am. Mm-hmm. And I have always wanted to create like digital courses that I taught because I feel like there are a lot of things that I can teach on, but it's always kind of been fragmented or I didn't really have a niche that I wanted to focus on. And I think that that would be really fun next step for me is to have like digital training courses that show people how to get started with OnlyFans because
oh my God, I could totally
there's
see you
a
doing
lot
that.
of people that want to learn.
Yeah. I feel like every day I see a post in our Facebook group of someone being like, how do I get started? Like it's so common because it is mm-hmm. like, I mean, for women, like as a side hustle, it's just, it seems like it's right there at your fingertips. Like there's so many women I feel like who want to do it, but mm-hmm. it's intimidating to start. And it's like, you know, I don't know, it's overwhelming. So I think something like that would be so nice for people to have.
Yeah. I think each of these things that we talked about, like how to market yourself, how to set it up, all of that. It could be I see them as like unique modules that I could go into on all of them. So that people will pay for.
Totally.
Sure. Monetize it. Monetize everything.
Everything.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. My goal is to this year I'm focusing on stacking things rather than did I do it today? Check. Like, because then when there's a gap, it's like, oh, well, I was inconsistent, or mm-hmm. I fell off, or I guess I don't really want to get started again on that habit or whatever. And so I've shifted my thinking this year to I'm just stacking things on top of each other. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter if it's every day because everything stacks on what I already did. And so I think that's a healthier way for me to look at working out or movement so that I don't feel as defeated if I don't do it every day. And then also I'm like stacking like streams of income. I don't want to work. I'm going to take this job, but I don't want to work for anyone else anymore long term. I think I'm taking this job because I know it will be fun for me, but fun jobs working for somebody else are hard to come by. And I also don't want to work forever. And I want to have time freedom where I can work when I want to work, and when I want to be a mom, I can be a mom. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to check in with anybody to do that. And I also want money freedom. I want to not ever be in a situation where I felt like someone could take my home and I wouldn't be okay. Someone could take my job and I wouldn't be okay. And so I think it's really risky in this day and age to not have multiple streams of income, especially with the way the economy is right now. And so I'm stacking streams of income. I will get this job. I will have OnlyFans. I have all these other side hustles. Like, the more you stack them, the more you have coming in, the more you can relax, the more easy it is, the more you can automate, the more you can start to outsource, right? Because it's the building, just like you guys built this, that is the hard part. But then once you get to a sustaining level or the place where you can no longer, even if it's scary, and I have business coaches that I can connect anyone with, if they are running a business and they feel like they can't do it on their own anymore, but they're worried about taking on staff, that's such a hard part for entrepreneurs. That pivotal moment where you have to start hiring, you have to have a team, you have to let some other people do some things, so that you can step away and enjoy it and grow it further, right? Yeah. That's the step to growing $1 million company.
It's the only way. Yeah. You can't, like, there's always going to be a ceiling when it's just you and you don't outsource anything, you don't hire people.
And do the things you like that you're energized by. Make a list of all the things you do in your business that you don't like. Those are the things that you should prioritize outsourcing to somebody else, because then you stay in your creative. You stay in that mode of like, I like what I do. I'm inspired by what I do. Because again, that energy in your business is important. So yeah, totally. Make somebody else do the accounting. So.
Okay, wait. We got to wrap it up with our obsessions. Yes. Fast obsessions. Okay. Do you want to go first or do you want to go last?
Go ahead. I'll go last.
Okay, I'll go first really quick. So before I had the baby, I was on Duolingo and I had a streak of like 128 days or something. And I was like, I am fluent in Spanish. I am Spanish. Like I
am from Spain.
Yeah, I can listen to all my Bad Bunny music and I can understand everything. No, I couldn't. But I was getting somewhere. I had the baby. I stopped playing on Duolingo. I'm back on Duolingo, okay? My streak now is at 16 days, and I'm going to be fluent by the end of the year. And then my manifestation for myself in 5 years is I will be living in Spain, and I'm just going to be on the coast, living in Spain, like Naked Peach, Spain. We're having, like, the offices there. It's like, I'm putting this on the universe.
Yes.
I love this.
We need destinations.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Satellite studios around.
That's my dream. We're gonna just go all over Europe, taking amazing photos, everything. It's coming to Europe. Yeah. It's gonna happen.
We both want to live in Europe. So.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, and Paris is on the board.
Perfect. All right.
Yes.
All right. 5-year plan for all three of us.
Well, and I want to do destination shoots. I want to go somewhere.
Same.
Like.
It's my dream.
Hotel room in Paris, Eiffel Tower out the window.
No.
Right?
No.
Right?
Just bent over the balcony.
Because I love a theme and a vibe.
Yes.
And yes, you can create in a space, but like there is just something about traveling.
Yeah, I agree.
Being in another location that is the vibe.
Yes.
I'm so excited for you. My dad's like a nerd, and he had a 365 day streak. Like the whole year he did it.
Wow.
He would be like it would be like he had to do it if it was like a day. And
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm in bed and I'm like about ready to fall asleep. I'm like, oh crap, Duolingo. Gavin's like, go to bed. And I'm just like, hola.
So I have mad respect for the streak because it's hard to keep up. Yeah. I believe in you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's going to be awesome.
Thanks.
You're inspiring me to get back on my French Duolingo.
I was doing French too.
Let's be friends on the app and then you nudge each other and you,
Because I was doing French too because I wanted to go back. And so I'm like, I didn't speak French last time I was there. I want to speak it this time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what happened when I went to that bachelorette party. One of the other girls like looked at my phone and she's like, oh my God, Duolingo, like what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I fell off. And then she's like, me too. And then right then we were like, okay, let's both get on it and we're gonna like friend each other. And now every day we it's like, oh, like she just did this, like send congrats. She says it to me and it helps when you know someone else.
That's such a good idea. Yeah. Okay, we're all gonna be friends on Duolingo.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, that was too long. Okay, Taylor, your turn.
Okay, my obsession this week is the fur oil. Fur is one of those brands like Glossier where they're like direct to consumer, and I feel like they had like a really heavy marketing couple of years where like I saw them on Instagram every day. I finally ordered it a couple months ago, And I've always thought that, like, the only way I was ever going to not have fucking razor burn on my thighs was if I got laser hair removal. Because I just have such coarse, thick hair that grows on the back. It's like pubes on the back.
It's for shaving.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you use it after, and they have a bunch of different products now, but, like, the main one I'm using is just, like, the basic oil that was their first product. And you just put it on all over after you shave. And, like, you know, you want to do it after you shave, but I also do it, like, most days just after I shower on, like, my bikini area on my legs. I've never had, like, this amount of relief from razor burn in my fucking life. Like, I am a razor burn queen.
No, wait, me too.
It's awful.
I'm buying this.
It's horrible.
People wax just to get away from that. Like,
Yeah.
my friend had it bad, and she's like, I just wax it because it's so painful.
Yeah, and, like, your pants rub against it, or your, like, your workout leggings, like, it's just horrible. But, like, you should definitely try this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it saved me.
It is really good. It keeps the skin soft so the hair can, like, easily come back out the follicle and not get stuck, too. Like,
yeah. No, my hair is so coarse and so black. And, okay,
and
I'm getting
it just gets
this.
stuck, and you got these red bumps all over.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay.
All right.
What is your obsession?
what am I obsessed with? I mean, mine's not a product right now.
No, it's fine.
I love those face masks that I gave you.
Oh, my God. Yes.
Was it good? Did you try it?
Incredible.
Oh my God. So Korean skincare, way better standards, look into it. But I think right now what I'm so excited about and obsessed about is, like, getting better at managing my money. Like, I did all of this growth on my mindset, but I still have, like, a lot of emotional triggers about money. I have, for some reason, like, these mental blocks of, like, I spend it really quickly because maybe underlying I feel like I can't hang on to it for very long. And so I found a business coach who she just teaches finances. She's actually the CFO for the other business coach that I was telling you about, who focuses on, like, your unconscious mind and reprogramming that. So it was her CFO. So she's, like, insanely smart and successful with money, but then she also believes in energetics, is, like, feels like you should be sexy with your money. Ooh. And, like, she taught this masterclass. And
wait, like on masterclass or just
no?
Okay,
like she
her
created
course.
it.
Yeah, okay.
She created a masterclass, and it was talking about, like, the two sides of money and how there's the fun part and then the part that allows you to have fun. Mm-hmm. And it's like I went through it and I realized I was really good at the fun part, but I didn't feel safe, and it causes me all of these emotions because I don't do, like, the daddy part of my money that makes me feel safe so that I can go and blow a wad on something that I wanted.
Yeah.
And she asks a lot of questions that you go through and you ask yourself. So it's almost like a workbook that you kind of go through. And it was interesting because she started by asking 5 questions about how I would answer them now. And then she says, now imagine where you want to be. And I just got done telling you guys I want to have time freedom and money freedom and multiple streams of income. She's like, imagine you're already there. Do you answer those questions differently or the same? And I was like, fuck, I answer them differently. She's like, start operating with your money now like that. Because just like shifting your perspective of who you are, and when you do that, you behave differently. She was like, treat your money like you would then, and you will become that woman faster because you're already doing it. And there's so many transitions we make growing our businesses that those things are so much harder because we only do them when we run up against it, and we have to. You can get there so much quicker if you start operating that way. Get naked now, then get happy. Handle your money like a millionaire now, then get rich. Like, I'm obsessed with it.
I love
this.
Yes.
This is a great obsession.
So I'll share her. I'll share the gal at the beach who was a playmate. I'll also share the millennial who dresses like Gen Z.
Yeah.
So I'll share all of those.
Okay, perfect. And we'll put links on our story and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
And then we'll eat and we'll pee and we'll do all the things because I can talk to you guys forever.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I love you guys.
We love you.
Love you
guys.
We're going to have you back on for sure.
Yeah.
This is in our only,
So fun.
Thank you so much.
You.
Where can the people find you? We'll shout out our socials and then we'll end. Or do you want people to find you on social media? Or no? So my Instagram handle is @your_favorite
_snack__. And it's long, but we can share it later.
Yeah.
But yeah,
perfect.
That is where I promote my OnlyFans. You can see all the beautiful work that I did with these lovely ladies. And all of the work that we will do together, because I will be going back.
Yes.
Oh,
yes. Yes.
Repeatedly.
And then you can find us at Naked Peach Boudoir on all the socials and on our website, nakedpeachboudoir.com. You can find me at Anna McLaughlin Photo.
You can find me at T Smells.
And we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.
What?